Hi everyone, my name is Emily Singer Lucio and I'm the ADA coordinator for the University of Maryland.
Hi guys, my name is Naomi. I'm a junior and I'm a transfer student, and I'm coming from Howard County.
Great, thanks Naomi. Welcome, we're happy to have you here today. I wanted to talk with you a little bit about you and your life on campus with a disability. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
So I'm actually hard of hearing and blind. I was actually born deaf, and I was diagnosed with Usher syndrome at 13 years old, I think. So living on campus as a deaf and blind person, it can be challenging sometimes, to be honest. I always had to pay attention when I'm going, like making sure I don't run into people, which can be a little stressful for me. It's something that I deal with every day, to be honest. It's the way it is.
Tell me a little bit about what it was like learning you had a disability.
Oh gosh. I think I had always known it for a long time. Like I remember when I was younger, I couldn't hear anything, so I kind of suspected something is wrong with me. But later on, when my parents adopted me, I'm adopted by the way. But my parents then confirmed to me, yeah, you have a disability. You can't change. You are born deaf. But I did not know I was actually legally blind until I was diagnosed with Usher syndrome. I was like 13. I was like, oh great, another thing added to my plate. It was really hard for me to learn that I have vision problem. So I would rather just stick with hearing loss than vision. That just makes it worse for me.
Yeah, that sounds like it was challenging for you. How old were you when you found out that you had hearing loss? When you first thought you discovered you felt like you had hearing loss?
I don't know. I mean, I was born deaf, so I always thought that. But I had memories of seeing things, but I have no memories of hearing things. It was just it's kind of like watching a movie without volume. It's like that. I always knew that something was off with me. So I guess 3, 4, I don't know, somewhere around that age.
So do you wear hearing aids or have a cochlear implant or anything?
I do have a cochlear implant. A lot of people get mixed up with hearing aid and cochlear implant. So I actually have that. The one that helps me actually hear, which I'm pretty thankful to have them. It was a better way for me to communicate with other people than, just to communicate with them.
For people who may not be familiar with what that is, can you share a little bit about what it is and how it works?
Yeah, so cochlear implant, so it's an implant. Let me explain. So you have to have a surgery to have it implanted inside your head. So they put some sort of computer chip or something inside your skull, and they also put that plastic cochlear, because in your cochlear there's no hair. That's how you're able to receive sound as a normal hearing person. Anyway, so they put the plastic cochlear inside of somewhere in my ear, and then on the outside part there is it's called processor. So it's a processor with a coil attached to it. So the coil part is attached to your head. On the processor part, it has a microphone on it, so it receives sounds. The processor interprets it and sends it to my brain. So basically, I'm hearing sounds inside my head, not through my ear.
Interesting.
So if that makes sense. It's a little complicated.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think that was helpful for people who may not be familiar with that. So let's talk a little bit about the vision. Did you start to have vision issues when you were little, or when did it get worse as you got older?
Well, so I found it out. I started having vision problem. My mother told me about it. We were at Disney World or something. We were having a fireworks show, and it was nighttime, and I couldn't see what was happening at the time. My parents did not know I had vision problem.
How old were you?
I was 11, 12. So I was like lost in the dark. Like, where are my parents? So my parents find it really odd that, you know, naturally they thought I have a night vision. So they were like, something is wrong. So they took me to an eye doctor, and that's when they ran a bunch of tests on me, like vision field tests and whatnot. And they're like, yeah, she has Usher syndrome, which is the loss of hearing and vision at the same time. Yeah, that was when I found out.
Do you have issues with balance?
My balance is okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best thing, but my balance is pretty better compared to most other people who have Usher syndrome.
Yeah, I've heard that that's sometimes an issue with
Yeah.
Usher syndrome.
Yeah, I can't ride a bike, but my mother told me not to ride a bike since my last incident. But yeah, I try to avoid that. Like riding a bike, yeah, I try to avoid it. I mean, I did ballet for years that required a lot of balance.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah.
Was that helpful?
I mean, it was helpful for me, you know, to improve my balance. I don't know if that is a thing, but I have fun, but eventually I lost interest in doing dances.
Yeah. Yeah. So how has having a disability impacted you differently at different stages of your life?
I mean, it's impacting me every day, to be honest. Like, from birth, probably. It's like I have to work extra harder than any other normal people can do. Like, people with normal hearing, they can listen really easily. Like, for me, I had to listen harder. When I hear something, it takes a while for my brain to fully process it. So that's why I often ask people to repeat it several times to me to make sure it's fully registered in my head. Like, in general, I have to listen harder. I have to pay more attention to what people are saying to me, and that can be quite exhausting to me, just mentally. And vision-wise, I have to basically swivel my hand all the time just to make sure that I'm not running into anything. I can't tell you how many times, the wet sign on the floor, it says the floor is wet.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times I kicked it down since I first came here, because I can't see them coming, so it's quite annoying, but I'm learning to be more extra aware of my surroundings and making sure I don't run into anything kicking things down. But yeah, it's every day it can be pretty exhausting to me, because I have to do extra work just to make sure that I'm not hurting anybody else and making sure I'm paying attention to everything. But yeah, it's something I deal with every day.
Must be pretty tiring some days.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what do you wish other people knew about or understood about you?
Oh gosh. Well. Yeah, I wish that people could, that just for one day people would be in my shoe, just to feel like, what is it like dealing with loss of vision and hearing at the same time. Like if they had known what it is about to be in my shoe, they would totally be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Man, I can't imagine what you have to deal with every day. It's not easy, but you learn how to adapt to it. And I've gotten better throughout the years.
What are some things you've done to adapt?
Honestly, it's really just kind of slowing myself down to be more attentive to my surroundings. Because sometimes I'll just rush everything, and that makes me not paying attention to where I'm going or when people are talking to me. That I kind of need to slow myself down and be more attentive. And other than that, I just ask people for help. That would you repeat that, or it's asking people is one of them. I'm not a huge fan of asking people, because it just I always perceive it as a sign of weakness to me.
For asking for help?
Yeah, because I'm pretty stubborn. Like, I'm the type of person that prefers to do everything on my own.
That's not a bad thing.
I know, that's what my mom tells me. Say, you gotta ask for help if you really need it. Say, yeah, I'm slowly getting better at it, asking for help. Yeah.
Do you anticipate that things are going to get worse as you get older?
Yeah, so hearing is not going to be a problem because it's fixable. But vision-wise, as I get older, I mean, I'm slowly losing my vision. Yes. Yeah, it's RP is retinitis pigmentosa. It's basically the tiny hairs in the back of your retina that are slowly dying. So that's why I'm slowly losing my vision. So yes, as I'm getting older, it will get worse. I mean, like my doctors told me by this time now I should be 100% blind, but now I still have central vision left. Central vision left. Yeah. I mean, who knows that maybe within the next 20 years I might be 100% blind. I have no idea. But I do know for sure that there are scientists and doctors trying to find a cure for it. So I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay.
Yeah, and luckily we live in an area that has many great doctors and research facilities,
Yes,
and
exactly.
so hopefully they can figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it will happen. That it will happen within 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll still have some vision left by the time it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think one of the things that people often misunderstand is that sometimes some people think, well, we should always be trying to find a cure. And I don't think that that's necessarily wrong, right? That we're trying to find cures for these things. But at the same time, we also have to sometimes accept the fact that, people with disabilities have disabilities now, and we have to, figure out how to help them understand that, or help people who don't have disabilities, right, understand that this is their lives. There's nothing wrong with it, right? We have to be accepting and say, how do we adapt what we have in our normal lives so that you can feel comfortable living as normal life as possible too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some preconceived ideas people have about you?
Well, the main one is that people just naturally think I'm a rude person just because, I have no peripheral vision. Like when you can see it in your background vision, like my peripheral vision is so low that I can only see what's right in front of me. So if people if someone is introducing himself to me, and they would stick their hands out, but I'm looking at their face, that I don't see his hands sticking out. His were retracted, thinking, oh, I'm a rude person, refusing to shake his hand. No, it's not that. It's just I didn't see it. So when I don't see people come in or come up behind me or handing me something, they think I'm just naturally rude, but that I'm ignoring it intentionally. No, that was never my intention. That's what irritates me all the time. I'm like, okay, I need to tell people, oh, I'm sorry, my vision's really bad. Don't take me as a rude person, or I'm ignoring you on purpose. That gets me all the time. I'm like, I don't know how I can make it better, or make it seem like I'm not doing it on purpose. But yeah, that's the main thing. People just say I'm a rude person, that I'm just ignoring them on purpose. It's pretty annoying, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I had to explain it to them. Once I explained it to them, they're like, oh, okay, that makes so much sense. So I have to explain it to them to make them understand why I didn't see them at first. And they get it now.
That's good. And again, that's a lot of work you have to put in to help people understand.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you've talked a lot about some of the challenges and difficulties, but are there any other large challenges you feel you've had to deal with in working, and how you've worked through them in terms of, learning about your disability? or learning to live with your disability?
I mean, there will always be challenges every day, and you just have to think about it, figure out how do I tackle that. My routine is usually the same tactics, just slow yourself down, think how do I do it better next time. I sometimes ask my mom for advice, say, how do I do that? How do I make it better next time? I mean, usually it's all by myself figuring it out. But at some point, I might have to get a guide dog, that is seeing dog. Yeah, my parents and I were talking about that a couple of days ago, saying, maybe it's not such a bad idea, right? I think that could really help me out. And a while ago, we were talking about using mobility cane. And I hated the idea of it. Mobility cane? No, thank you. No. Because I always hated the idea of people looking at me saying, oh, why is she using a cane? That idea got stuck with me for a while. But, I mean, at least it's designed for other people. Oh, she can't see. Oh, she can't see. I'm going to give her some space so she doesn't run into me. But a mobility cane doesn't give you much flexibility as compared to having a dog that will help you out a lot. I would rather choose a dog over a mobility cane. But yeah, I'm still in the process of figuring out how to get it to improve my life as a disabled person. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting, right? Because a lot of people don't understand how you make that choice in terms of a service dog versus a cane. And I think a lot of people just think it's automatic, right? That you either use a service dog or you use a cane, right? And it's interesting to hear about sort of the thought process you're going through and making that decision. Yeah. Any other things you want to share with people about you, about living with a disability before we go?
For a long time, I always thought having a disability is like the worst thing. Like the worst thing that's happened to me, because I always want to be normal, like just a person with no physical problem, such as hearing and vision loss. I always thought it was a horrible thing to have. But throughout time, you learn how to accept it. You learn how to deal with it. And once you learn how to do it, it's not so bad after all. And having a disability is part of who you are, right? It's time to learn how to do it and embrace it. It's part of who you are. And maybe having a disability isn't so bad after all. I mean, it depends on how you deal with it. And it really makes you stand apart from other crowd, saying, oh, that person is different. That's cool. I mean, I met several people throughout my time saying, oh, I had never met a deaf person. How do you deal with that? They would be so curious, which I don't mind telling them. But in general, I think having a disability is part of you, and you move on. You just accept it. And I'm slowly getting better at it. Slowly accepting it is part of who I am. I can't really change that. Really, yeah.
Well, you certainly have a great attitude, so thank you, Naomi. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for listening today. For more information on disabilities, we have a great website at the university called accessibility.umd.edu, and you can find more information there, and we hope to see you at our next podcast. Thanks so much.